I think trying to homestead out here in a northern climate, it's a lot like Star Trek.
Hey, Pablo. How you doing, buddy? Hey, Lil. Huh? I don't have any more treats for you.
So I was away from the farm for the day and I am just getting back. So I know some of you have asked the question of whether or not I still tell the ducks to go to bed. The answer is I haven't done it lately. And it's not because they're not trained. Like, they go to bed on their own. Look at this. See, they're already in there. They get kind of freaked out when I shine the light in here. All right, good night, ducks. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Another egg. Yeah, this one's frozen solid. Cracked. Bummer. Hey, look, it's a little barn cat. She's out here watching me do chores. And there's Pablo way out in the distance. Hey guys, I'll feed you in a minute. These guys just went for their food. Good night, ducks. Here's your food. Here's your other food. Here's your water. Little cats. Aw, such good little barn cats. So my friends Ben and Meg over at the Hollar Homestead have been doing this long 10-month road trip across America, really trying to explore the country and figure out where they wanted to ultimately live. They started out in California and really, just kind of zigzagged their way across the U.S. And I think it hit most of the states. I think there were like 3 or 4 that they missed, but you got to give them a lot of credit for being able to do all that in 10 months. So I was just watching their video the other day where they announced where they were going to live and where they were planning on moving to. And it's just an awesome video. I will leave a link for it right up here. It's totally worth checking out for you guys who aren't familiar with them, but I'm sure most of you are. Great story. It's amazing to see this family come together as they go across the country. It's well told. Watch it. But there was this one moment in their video which made me say, wait a minute. And in it was basically Meg talking about how when they were up here in New England, I think they were in Maine at the time when they kind of came to this conclusion.
Their growing season is from June to September. That's kind of a no.
They didn't want to live here because really our growing season is from June to September, and then outside of that you're pretty much done ski. And I can't dispute that fact. So that is very much true here. Like, you really shouldn't be planting anything that's not in a high tunnel before, say, Memorial Day, and then come the day of the equinox in September, yeah, you should be expecting snow at any minute. So it is entirely true that we don't have a long growing season. That is just what it is. But I will say this: if you think about it, it's kind of nice having a short growing season. I'm gonna fully acknowledge. Living up here in a cold climate and trying to be self-sufficient in a cold climate, it isn't for everybody. There's a lot of things you've got to consider that, people in a warmer climate, like if you're down south or you're out west in California, or even if you're in a more temperate place like, you know, the Pacific Northwest, you know, there's just a lot of stuff you don't have to consider, you don't have to think about. I mean, it's not like you have to split 1,000 of these things when you're living in Southern California. But you also have to acknowledge that those places have their own challenges and those places have their own problems. And as long as you can deal with the cold, and as long as you can prepare and build the right systems for whether it's managing animals out in the cold, or, you know, keeping your heat in your house, or figuring out how to grow enough food in a short period of time so that you can preserve it and hang on to it, there's just some awesome stuff about the short season. I mean, think about it. How many of you guys who are living in warmer climates, you're able to do 3 distinct plantings and you still have stuff in your gardens come December, I mean, how burnt out are you with gardening by that point? And then if you also think of the other flip side of it all, here in Vermont, we'll have like less than 10 days a year that are north of 90 degrees. And when you think about our summers overall, they are absolutely incredible. They are these crisp, beautiful, warm days. Yeah, we have enough rain mixed in, but it's not too humid and just quite temperate. I mean, the summer months here are outstanding. The fall, I mean, the foliage will just... Sorry, I just hit the wind chime. What I was saying is that this foliage is incredible out here. I think trying to homestead out here in a northern climate, it's a lot like Star Trek. It's not for everybody, but the people who like it are way into it.
Try a simpler costume. Don't go for the full-on Klingon warrior.
I mean, for me personally, I love it in this type of setting. I love getting bundled up. I like the rituals that you have to have and the simplified life that has to exist. And I like how when you're in the winter and you're doing your chores, you sort of streamline everything to an exceptionally efficient bare minimum, just pushing things through. And I don't personally find anything wrong with the fact that when there's 2 feet of snow out in the pasture, the only way you're getting around is by either snowmobile or snowshoes. And as I've talked about in a previous video, when you think about life out here from a preparedness perspective, whether there's some sort of global disaster or climate change just takes this wicked hard toll on us all, northern Vermont is not a bad place to be. I don't know. I'm just personally a big fan of life in the cold climates. And so when Meg Hollar just said that a growing season from June to September was a deal breaker, I just said, what? Are you crazy? I love you guys. I mean, it's not to say there aren't the crappy things too out here. You know, having to wake up every morning and plow and shovel, getting stuck in snowdrifts, not being able to walk everywhere that you might want to walk to, having a frost line that I think is about 7.5 feet deep that you have to dig for if you want to bury water lines, having your water freeze on your ducks on a constant basis. But that said, I love being out here in the cold, and I love the rest period. I think I've said in past videos that the bear is somewhat my spirit animal, and I think a big part of that is because I'm the type of person who likes to work wicked hard and go at it really hard for a short burst of time and a period of time, and then for a long time I like to hibernate and you know, kind of hang out in my cave and lay low. And when you have a long winter, it lets you do that. So that is me standing on my soapbox related to why I like it here in a cold climate. So be sure to check out the Hollars video about their massive cross-country odyssey and how they ended up picking where they picked to settle and build their homestead. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but I will say that it's not Vermont. And if you want to learn more about us and how we manage our homestead here in northern Vermont, be sure to check out one of our other videos. And I'll see you next time here on Goldshaw Farm, where we're trying to build a farm in Vermont. Thanks.